Edward and Henry were in the yard, grumbling. Both were very cross. "It isn't fair," pouted Edward. "Ever since the Fat Controller sent all the other station pilots to other stations, there has been no other engines to help us here." "I do see what you mean," said Henry, "and Sir Topham Hatt doesn't even come to check on this yard. I mean, I do understand that we don't live at this yard, we live in Tidmouth's yard, but it does deserve some respect." "You are right," said Edward. "I must go tell Sir Topham Hatt. But I didn't expect you to do that." But Edward puffed away. "To go tell the Fat Controller." Henry was speechless. Edward arrived looking for Sir Topham Hatt. "Hello, James. Where's Sir Topham Hatt?" "He'll be here soon." "All right," said Edward. "Yes, Edward? Hello, Edward. What is it?" Edward jumped. Yes, sir, please, sir. We do need another engine at, Roosevelt Gardens Terminal Shunting Yard. It does get very tiresome working there." "All right," said Sir Topham Hatt. I can't send Thomas. He's very busy." "That I am," said Thomas grumpily. "Edward, take me to examine the yard right away." "Yes, sir," said Edward, and Sir Topham Hatt climbed aboard. Edward and Sir Topham Hatt crept into the Roosevelt Gardens sheds. "You see," said Edward, "no engine and the yard is in a mess." "Huh, I agree," said Sir Topham Hatt as Edward backed down. "We really do need another engine. I shall investigate." Sir Topham Hatt left on the search for a new engine. Edward puffed away with his passengers. Sir Topham Hatt drove Winston all around, showing him where they were going to go. "It is the North Hampstead Hollow Garden Works," said Sir Topham Hatt as they left West Hampstead Hollow. "Here it is." As Sir Topham Hatt and Winston drove past, they saw so many engines. Winston and Sir Topham Hatt arrived. "Hello, who is the owner here?" asked Sir Topham Hatt. Sir Topham Hatt lurched from behind some engines, and out from behind some other engines lurked a tiny man with a briefcase in his right hand. "Hello, I'm Mr. Merkloff. I am the controller of this yard. Yes, I'm looking for a new engine to work one of my, station yards. Actually, I would like a few, if you wouldn't mind." "Here, you can have all of them. I'm tired of looking over these engines and paperwork whenever people come over. I'm glad to get rid of them all." Winston and the Fat Controller couldn't believe what they just heard. Soon, the workmen in the cranes started making sure that all the engines were ready to go. Sir Topham Hatt and Winston were speechless. And soon, they were all ready to go to their new home in the yard. Just as Sir Topham Hatt and the new engines arrived, he found Edward and Zenobia trying to clear up the yard mess. "What's going on here?" said Sir Topham Hatt. "Clean-up party?" asked Winston. "Yes, we were waiting for the new engines to come, so we decided to do some yard cleaning. Isn't that right, Zenobia?" "That it is, Edward." As Edward made his deliveries, he knew that the new engines were going to be a great asset to Sodor. That night, Henry was in the shed, and so was Zenobia and Edward. Woo-hoo. He had pulled the fish train today and wanted to tell what happened. It was a very good story. But instead, Gabriella, the new diesel, had a story to tell. Henry was cross, so he spoke rudely to Gabriella, the new diesel, and to Annabelle, the big new tender engine. "Hey," said Henry, "that's why you have stupid little paint splatters everywhere." Annabelle was hurt. "They aren't paint splatters," she protested. "They're just not. They are paint droppings from my country." "And what country is that?" "America. My builder was a very artistic man. He had artistic dreams with artistic colors. You wouldn't dare understand his imaginative figure." "And I wouldn't try to either," said Henry. "Anyway," puffed Annabelle, "how was everybody else's day?" "Fine," said Gabriella G. "Ours were all right too," said the other engines. Annabelle couldn't situate herself on the turntable. She tried and tried again, but nothing would suit her wheels. "Someone can't turn on the turntable," said Henry. "That just proves you're not fit to be in this shed." Edward was surprised. Paris the tank engine couldn't believe it either. They had never expected Henry to say such rude things. Annabelle rolled away. "You know, Henry," puffed Edward as he edged on to the tracks, "you didn't have to be so rude." "Yeah, well, I chose to," said Henry, "so get used to it." And he rolled to sleep. Edward was surprised. Henry was on the turntable the next morning, feeling very pleased with himself. He couldn't wait to see Annabelle and make fun of her again. But Edward said, "No bullying. It isn't right." Henry says, "Whoosh, who cares? Bully if I want to." Annabelle shunted into Nafford Station that morning next to James. James was surprised to see her. "Well, well, well," said James. "I'm surprised to see you, Annabelle, after the way Henry roasted you yesterday about your silly-looking paint." "My paint may be silly, but at least mine looks proper for my build. You would look better suited blue or purple, either." James was horrified. "Blue? Purple? What nonsense," he said. Henry puffed past and whistled. "She's not a proper engine at all." James was impressed, but Annabelle wasn't. Later that day, Henry, Annabelle, Gabriella G, and Edward were all working in Boulder Quarry. Boulder was standing aground crossly. Mighty Mac were at the top grumbling at Boulder. Boulder said nothing. He was a very devious Boulder. Henry and Annabelle were arguing too. Gabriella G and Edward were not enjoying themselves. But just then, it happened. Mighty Mac were listening, and they puffed forward and hit the unsafe buffers and knocked into Boulder, sending him down, down, down. He knocked into Annabelle, bouncing right off of Henry. Both engines were very surprised. Sure Topham Hatt was crossed too. Both engines knew they were wrong, and they both decided that it wasn't okay to play in quarries.